second in a row, and Clark stays red.
I feel like I would be a really good ref, though, from the side.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't miss the call.
Acting. After 20 long days stuck on the sideline with injury, Caitlin Clark stormed back like she had a score to settle, and she picked the biggest target possible, the undefeated New York Liberty. From the moment she stepped on the floor, it was like she never left. This might just be electrifying.
Nicely done to get it inside to Mitchell. Those two have such a great connection.
Performance yet. NBA range threes, shattered records, and a level of brilliance the WNBA hasn't witnessed before. On her very first trip up the court, she didn't waste a single dribble, dropping a perfect no-look dime that set the tone for what was coming. The connection was instant. That same chemistry showed up again when she spotted Aaliyah Boston battling in the post. Then in transition, Boston was already sprinting like she knew what was about to happen. Clark delivered a laser straight out of a quarterback's highlight reel. Caitlin Clark feeling that had the crowd gasping.
Caitlin Clark!
That made 3 assists with 3 minutes still left in the first quarter, and she hadn't even scored yet. Then came the moment. She put a top-tier defender on absolute skates, powered through contact, and finished with the N1. That's pure Clark magic. But with just 130 left in the first quarter, that magic turned into something historic. 3 threes in under a minute. And not just any threes. 2 of them were from over 30 feet, at least 6 feet beyond the NBA line. That's not just deep.
And then steps back with the 3 over Brianna.
That's Steph Curry range. And here's the kicker. She had been out for nearly 3 weeks. No warm-up, no easing back in. Just straight fire from the jump. Just straight fire. And when the Liberty had the nerve to sag off her to start the second quarter, Clark made them pay instantly. It was a no-brainer. The heater wasn't cooling down anytime soon. She was so locked in, even her practice freebie after a foul was pure. Didn't even graze the rim. Sitting on fourth.
Last played for Indiana against New York, and now she takes it in off glass and has a chance
threes and 17 points, while the rest of the Fever roster hadn't hit a single field goal yet. This wasn't basketball. This was a live video game glitch. Caitlin Clark had now splashed 5 straight threes in the first half. 3 of them coming in a jaw-dropping 38 seconds. And with Lexi Hull starting to light it up too, the Fever were suddenly chasing a new franchise record for made threes. But Liberty's enforcer, Natasha Cloud, wasn't having it. She went straight to the dirty playbook, trying to knock Clark out of rhythm with physical hits and off-ball bumps. Sadly, this kind of targeting has become all too common in the WNBA. But tonight, not even that could slow her down. And just when you thought her last pass was the highlight, she upped the ante, drilling yet another deep 3 to close the half. She was feeling it. This was hands down the best first half of her young WNBA career. Single-handedly keeping the Fever alive, dropping 66% from deep, and making sure the Liberty felt every bit of her presence. But there was one problem. The Fever couldn't buy a bucket inside. Missed open layups kept them from flipping the scoreboard in their favor. The third quarter tipped off, and it was clear Clark wasn't done making the Liberty's defense look silly. She opened the half with the same swagger, slipping through double teams and finding teammates in spots they didn't even know they were open in. But here's where things got chippy. New York started throwing bodies at her. Hard screens, extra elbows, anything to break her flow. You could see the frustration in their faces. They were supposed to be the undefeated juggernaut. And yet, one player, fresh off a 20-day layoff, was dictating the entire game. Still, Clark wasn't rattled. She fired off another laser. Passed to Aaliyah Boston for an easy bucket, then came right back and drilled a step-back 3 so deep it had the crowd standing before it even dropped. The Fever were feeding off her energy, but every time they threatened to take control, the Liberty would answer with their own big shot.
Clark nails it. A 17-0 run.
Clark nails it. Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart started heating up, reminding everyone why they hadn't lost all season. And then came the moment that nearly blew the roof off. Clark pulled up from logo range. The crowd exploded, but the shot rattled out. Even in a miss, the statement was clear. She was here to put the Liberty on notice. Heading into the final frame, the Fever was still hanging around and Caitlin Clark was still one spark away from flipping the entire game upside down. The fourth quarter opened like a heavyweight title fight. Every possession felt like it could swing the game. Clark came out aggressive, carving up the defense with pinpoint passes and fearless drives. You could see it in her eyes. She wanted this win bad, but the Liberty weren't about to hand over their perfect record. Brianna Stewart started going to work in the post, and Sabrina Ionescu kept answering with clutch shots from deep. Every time the Fever pulled within a bucket, New York punched right back. Then came
One thing you get with Clark is great pace and great passes.
the turning point. Clark shook her defender with a filthy crossover, stepped back beyond NBA range, and drilled it right in her face. The arena erupted, and for a moment, it felt like the Liberty streak was hanging by a thread, but New York's experience showed. They slowed the game down, forced the Fever into tough shots, and got just enough stops to keep the lead. Clark tried to will her team back, dropping dimes, drawing fouls, and even chasing down a rebound like it was the final play of her life. But missed layups from her teammates kept killing the momentum. With under a minute left, Clark buried one last deep three, refusing to go out quietly. The Liberty might have escaped with their undefeated record intact, but they didn't leave unscathed. Because tonight, Caitlin Clark reminded the whole league that when she's locked in, no one, not even the best team in basketball, is safe. After the final buzzer, the Liberty celebrated like they just survived a playoff elimination game. And honestly, that's exactly what it
Clark, another long three. She's back.
felt like. Clark had pushed them to the edge, and they knew it. You could see the relief on their faces as they walked off, but you could also see the frustration in hers. Reporters swarmed her immediately, asking about the physical hits, the missed calls, and the near upset. Clark didn't bite on the excuses. She just smirked and said, "We'll see them again." That one sentence was a warning shot to the entire league. Social media exploded within minutes. Clips of her 30-foot bombs, the no-look dimes, and the stare-down after her, and one were trending everywhere. Fans were already calling it one of the best individual performances of the season. And she did it after nearly 3 weeks off the court. Meanwhile, the conversation turned to something bigger. If the Fever can play like this against an undefeated powerhouse, what happens when Clark gets more help? What happens when they start hitting those layups?
Clark, another long three.
And capitalize on her playmaking. The answer might just shake up the entire playoff picture, but one thing's for sure. Tonight wasn't just another regular season game. It was a statement. Caitlin Clark didn't just return. She lit up the scoreboard, rattled the league's top team, and put every future opponent on notice. She's coming for them, and she's not slowing down for anyone. By the next morning, the entire WNBA was talking about one thing: Clark's return game. Coaches, players, analysts, everyone had an opinion. Some praised her fearlessness. Others questioned why the Liberty had to resort to borderline fouls just to slow her down. Either way, no one could deny it. She'd stolen the spotlight from the league's so-called unbeatable team. Highlights of her 3 and 38 seconds run were looping on every sports show, and fans couldn't get enough. Even NBA players were chiming in online, calling her range absurd and her confidence cold-blooded. The comparisons to Steph Curry were hitting harder than ever, and Clark wasn't shying away from them.
She was owning it.
Meanwhile, Fever fans were fired up. They weren't just talking about moral victories. They were talking about revenge games. Social media threads were already circling the date of the next Liberty matchup, predicting fireworks. And here's the kicker. The Liberty's post-game pressers weren't exactly relaxed. Stewart and Ionescu gave credit, but you could sense the tension. They know she's dangerous. They know one hot quarter is all it takes for her to blow the game wide open. League insiders are whispering that this might have been the night the WNBA's balance of power started to shift. Because if Clark can do that after 20 days off, what's she going to look like at full throttle in the middle of a playoff run? One thing's clear, the Liberty might still be undefeated on paper, but in the court...
Challenging part of like all this So obviously I have the first injury and I sit out 4 games and then I come back and I play really well.
Yeah.
And I feel really good. And like even just begin the year, like I played great. Like I started the year really good. Like I felt really great. Like my numbers were great. I was shooting the ball well. And then I get hurt and it's like, okay, like you gotta get healthy, whatever. You're like, I'm gonna do whatever I can, you know, to get back to what I was doing.
Public opinion. Caitlin Clark just handed them their first real scare of the season. The buzz from Clark's showdown with the Liberty barely had time to cool before the Fever's next test came into focus, and the timing couldn't be juicier. Their upcoming opponent, a squad that's been running its mouth all season, claiming Indiana can't hang with the Real contenders. After what Clark just did to the best team in the league, those words might age like milk. You can feel the shift in the Fever's energy. Practices have been sharper, the bench is louder, and the chemistry is clicking in a way it hasn't all year. Players like Lexi Hull and Aaliyah Boston are feeding off Clark's swagger. And that confidence is spilling over into every drill, every rep, every film session. The fans, they're already treating this next matchup like a playoff preview. Ticket sales are spiking. The arena is expected to be packed. And
that we've had as a team, because early in the season we were just so inconsistent, and if teams were to do that, we would normally lose those games. But it just shows that we're getting closer, we're trusting each other, and we're just, I think that's the biggest part, is trusting and knowing that we can win those games even if they go on.
Social media is buzzing with predictions of Clark going nuclear again. Everyone wants to know, was the Liberty game a one-night spectacle or the start of a season-defining run? And here's the thing, Clark's not just talking about shooting better. She's talking about finishing games. She knows the Fever had a real shot at taking down the undefeated champs. And she's not letting the next one slip away. If the Fever bring that same fire and maybe clean up those missed layups, this could be the game that turns their season from developing to dangerous. The league better watch out because Caitlin Clark's heating up and she's got another target in sight. Scouting reports are out and the Fever know exactly.
Been hard.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'm gonna go to every road game no matter what, like whether I'm playing or not. Like, and it's hard because obviously I do feel this like responsibility of like being out there and playing, and like, not that I like think there's like a fear of any of this ever going away. Like that doesn't happen when like LeBron or Steph get hurt. Like they're always gonna be there.
No,
like, you
he'll be
know,
back.
yeah, exactly. So, but like, you do want to play. Like you want to give people something to cheer about or scream about, or, you know, people spend so much time and money.
Where to strike next. Clark's next opponent might have a flashy offense, but their perimeter defense full of cracks. Guards are slow to close out. Rotations are sloppy. And when they get caught in transition, it's open season for a sniper like Clark. Word from inside the Fever camp is that Clark's already eyeing those weaknesses, planning to push the pace, force mismatches, and pull defenders so far out of their comfort zone, they might as well be guarding her from the parking lot. And once she draws that extra help, you better believe Aaliyah Boston's going to feast in the paint. But it's not just about scoring. Clark's also looking to set the tone physically. After taking all those hits from the Liberty, she's ready to flip the script and make them feel the pressure early. The Fever's guards are preparing to trap hard on defense, create turnovers, and turn them into quick buckets before the other side can even blink. Roll. The key will be keeping that rhythm for all 4 quarters. No mental lapses, no stretches of missed fun.
That's a PNW win! W's in the chat.
W's in the chat.
Oh my gosh. That one just aged me, but we're getting better. Shoot, good win. Win for win.
A dub is a dub, so.
At the rim. If they can combine Clark's deep range with Boston's inside dominance and Hull's streaky shooting, they could bury this team before halftime. One thing's certain, the Fever aren't just coming to play. They're coming to send a message that the Liberty game wasn't a fluke. Caitlin Clark's locked in, and her next victim is already in the crosshairs. Caitlin could have been sitting on a double-double by halftime if her teammates hadn't kept fumbling the easiest shots under the rim. But instead of sulking, she dug deep into her bag and started putting on a defensive clinic, reading passes, cutting off lanes, and forcing turnovers like she'd been studying their playbook all week. Finally, midway through the third, the Fever engine roared to life. First, Lexi Hull splashed a cold-blooded 3 from the corner. Then Aaliyah Boston went full bully mode in the paint, racking up buckets that made the Liberty's bigs look helpless. And with defenders suddenly worried about her passing lanes, Caitlin...
so hard because, like, I've never really dealt with injury, and that's probably been a challenge in itself because, like, when I first, like, was feeling pain, like, I didn't understand it. Like, I didn't know. I was like, am I just tight? Like, am I just getting old? Do I need to hit a stretch? Do I need to get, like, a little rubbed out? Do I need some icy hot? Like, what's going on here? So I think it's been a balance of, like, understanding my body. And I know, like, you know, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, and even throughout my career, I'm going to be very thankful.
Caitlin flipped the whole script, attacking the basket with purpose, slicing through traffic like it was nothing. She was in a total flow state, calm, locked in, untouchable. And with a defender draped all over her, she rose up and buried her 7th 3 of the night. This is why you buy a ticket nights like this. And if you want to see Caitlin Clark live, grab your seats with code The Webby Show on SeatGeek for a nice discount. You won't regret it. By then, she was already at 30 points and there was still a quarter and a half left to play. But right on cue, Natasha Cloud got a taste of her own medicine, rewarded with a trip to the bench after picking up fouls trying to contain Clark. Even as the game slowed, Hull was still chasing the hat trick of missed layups. By the end, you'll understand just how criminal Caitlin's assist total really was. A lot of ups and downs.
WNBA this season to take care of business in a winning streak like this. What does that sort of say about how this team's coming together?
Yeah, you know, Seattle's a great team, a great team, and it's hard to play here. And so we knew that. We knew that they just came off kind of a bad loss against LA. And so they were hungry for a win. But for us, it's not about other teams. It's about our standard. It's about stacking the days. And I think that where our mental's at as a team and as individuals, we're in a really good spot. And, you know, it's not going to be easy moving forward. But I think today we stayed true to the scout. We trusted the offense. Kelsey has been having a hell of a season. She was a little bit off, but she facilitated for us offensively down the stretch. And it just shows that everyone has something to give, even if your scoring's not going to be there. But I don't know, I'm just proud of our team.
WBA this team, and I'm proud that thankfully, Hull redeemed herself in the 4th. And when Clark started dribbling literal circles around the defense, you just knew this one was over. In the final 2 minutes, the Fever held their ground, locking in stops and sealing the win. Caitlin Clark closed the night with a monster stat line. 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. And yeah, if just 2 more boards bounced her way and one teammate had finished a wide-open layup, we'd be talking about a 32-point triple-double. But maybe packing that much history into one night would have been too much for the league to handle. 7 threes, a new franchise record, and a performance that reminded everyone exactly who she is. A game changer every time she steps on the court. If you want to see her do it live, use code The Webby Show on SeatGeek for a nice discount. Like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment because trust me, this is just the beginning.
See you in the next.